I never planned to become a producer. I wanted to build games. What actually happened between the time I started in a basement and ended up in a room full of VPs and CEOs is what I want to talk about today. I started out as a QA tester. So for any of you guys that came from this background, you'll understand what the job was. Simple, pressing buttons, testing, finding bugs, report them and repeat. But nobody asked me to do anything beyond that. I started to notice things as I was doing this job, problems that were coming up that had nothing to do with the tasks that were on my list. Or, things between teams, you see communication gaps, teams working against each other all the time without even realizing it. People also duplicating work because you would just have a task that you would see duplicated over and over. And I wasn't asked to fix any of that, but I started trying anyway. Small things at first, organizing a meeting that nobody asked for, building a document nobody had requested, asking questions in rooms I technically didn't really have a reason or any business to be in. Most of it went unnoticed in the beginning. Some of it went horrible, but slowly something shifted. People had started to come to me with problems, and it wasn't because of my title. It was just because I was showing up for the tasks. One day I found myself jumping in and requesting to be part of, the upper management leadership discussions that they had 2 or 3 times a week on a project I was working for. So they had me, a lonely young tester, sitting with the VP of tech, the vice president of product, of art, and the CEO. And I sat quietly in that room for many months, just listening to everything that they said. How I got my foot in the door was by convincing one of them, quite simply, that I needed to understand the depth of the project for me to become better at the testing job. So I didn't want to waste the opportunity as I listened. The room actually ended up teaching me more about production leadership and how companies work than any training program I could have been part of. Here's what I figured out. Nobody gave QA a seat at the table. So I built my own, not by being the loudest or being the most qualified, actually, in this case, but by showing up consistently for things that nobody asked me to do, until eventually people couldn't imagine the room without me being there. The people who then move up aren't always the most talented. They're just the ones that stop waiting to be asked. So if you're a junior right now, QA, coordinator, assistant producer, whatever the role is, and you're wondering if the grind that you're doing isn't going anywhere, I can here to tell you that it is. But nobody is going to come and tap you on the shoulder. You have to build a seat for yourself.